Tears of the Kingdom is on the rise, and there have been many spoilers and leaks on the internet of people playing the game early. All we gotta do is avoid all these spoilers and leaks until the game's launch next week, May 12th. But if you were still worried about Tears of the Kingdom, let me tell you why you shouldn't be worried for the new and upcoming Legend of Zelda game. Tears of the Kingdom is the newest addition to the Legend of Zelda franchise, bringing old features from Breath of the Wild and adding new features to its own game. We know a lot of the abilities going into the game's launch after Eiji Aonuma kindly demonstrated what these abilities are and how they function. But one thing we received that really exceeded all of our hype was the final trailer for the game. On April 13th, we received the final trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, being roughly around 4 minutes of gameplay and story. We received a lot in that trailer, and everybody felt like this game is going to win Game of the Year. Well, if you're still worried whether or not this game is going to be better than Breath of the Wild or is going to be anything close to it, let me tell you why you shouldn't be worried for Tears of the Kingdom. This game really has no worry. I'm personally not worried, and you probably shouldn't be either. If you're worried, you're probably just hesitant that the game is not going to be as you expected, and that's reasonable. But let me just tell you why you shouldn't be worried about Tears of the Kingdom. The main concern with Tears of the Kingdom is whether or not the gameplay will be different from Breath of the Wild. The game is run on the same engine as Breath of the Wild, so the controls and the way you play will not be different because it's still running on the same engine, but the new features and the gameplay will be completely different with the new abilities coming in hand. And there's a lot more to look forward to in Tears of the Kingdom than what we had in Breath of the Wild. The new features change the entire way you play the game. You could build transportation, you can build cars, planes, you can fly. That's the craziest part. You can fly in this game. And you can also fuse your weapons together to create stronger weapons, more durable weapons, so that they don't constantly break and that you have to go find a new one or use another weapon until it breaks. It changes the entire game. The gameplay is going to be completely different from Breath of the Wild. There's no doubt about that. It will feel the same as it controls. From what I've heard, it's not any different, but I heard that the art's better and a lot has changed when it comes to gameplay features and just the style of playing the game. Tears of the Kingdom is entirely made for you. You control the way you play, and it's not going to be anything the same from Breath of the Wild because it's going to be a better gameplay experience in such a big world that's way bigger than what we had in Breath of the Wild. Story was also a big concern going into Tears of the Kingdom. We still don't know anything about it, but after seeing the final trailer, we can definitely see that this story is more impactful and definitely is a bigger story than what we had in Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild story, it would just be you recollecting Link's memories from 100 years ago before he took his 100-year nap, and then you would fight Calamity once you regained every single memory to get the final and the good ending. In Tears of the Kingdom, we don't know whether or not that is the case, if we're going to have Divine Beast, if we're going to have all these memories that we need to recollect, but we do know that this story is definitely more developed since we do see Ganondorf actually. When you have Ganondorf in a video game, you know that the story has to be good. The last time we saw Ganondorf with Link and Zelda was Twilight Princess, and that story was phenomenal. That was a great story, and Tears of the Kingdom having Ganondorf, that just makes me believe that we will have another great story to be put in the books for Legend of Zelda. And Tears of the Kingdom, really, it shouldn't be a worry when we are talking about story for Tears of the Kingdom after seeing everything that has been shown. There's voice acting for Ganon, and the story just looks very well developed compared to Breath of the Wild. It really looks like as you're playing the game, you're also interacting with the story, and it's just all playing out as you're playing the game. That's what we want. We want to play the story as we play the game, because it didn't really feel like a story. It felt like you were just going back to the past for like a split second, looking at a memory, and that's it. Don't get me wrong, the story for Breath of the Wild was great, but the way you interacted with it was not so much. But in Tears of the Kingdom, the story is going to be phenomenal. The biggest change in Tears of the Kingdom from Breath of the Wild are the Sky Islands. They bring a whole new world above the sky, where Link starts his adventure in the clouds high above. But that's only one layer of what we have of this massive world. We know that we have Hyrule, that's still there, and we know of the Sky Islands. But they also confirmed that there will be the underground. And normally undergrounds are massive in all video games. The underground is probably the biggest part when it comes to open world games and video games in general. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't only have the sky, it doesn't only have Hyrule, but it also has the underground. The underground makes everything different. We thought we were only going to have the sky. No, we're going to have caves and chasms and a massive world to explore underneath the surface. Hopefully the underground is as big as I think. I don't know anything about it, but hoping that this is going to be the biggest world we've ever seen in any open world game. Breath of the Wild world was massive, and looking at that, it was only one layer. It was just Hyrule. But when you add 2 more layers, Tears of the Kingdom has the sky and the underground. You're just adding so much more to such a big world with so many features. It's like a sandbox for your imagination with a massive story. The game, you can do anything in it. You can build as much as you please. There's no limit to what you can do in this game. And with the new layers, the sky and the underground, it's going to be even more massive than we ever seen it. We've never seen a video game this big, and to have the sky and the underground be a part of such a big world, not just on the surface, it's crazy because the game is going to be massive compared to Breath of the Wild. People are concerned that it's not going to be anything different. The Sky Islands are just going to be a few little islands floating in the air. No, it's massive. We haven't seen what's all the way up there. We've only seen what's a little bit lower. But when you go above the clouds, there's still more Sky Islands. We've only seen a little bit. So we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. We're going to be so surprised when we go into this game and the game is absolutely massive compared to Breath of the Wild. It's going to be so much bigger. And we have Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. It's been changed. It's destroyed, it seems. And everything has changed. 3 new layers. And it's just going to be a massive world. There's no reason to worry whether or not this game will be bigger than Breath of the Wild. It's obviously going to be bigger. They can't add Sky Islands and you can't expect them to make the game bigger. The game is going to be bigger without a doubt. And the world is controlled from what you do. You change the way you play the game, which gives you all the freedom in the world. Breath of the Wild, the abilities were great, they were fun, but they're definitely not as utilized as they look like in Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom's abilities look so much more useful, considering Ultra Hand can build you transportation to get you from one part to another. Say you want to go to a village, you just build a car with a bunch of materials you find around you, and you'll get there way faster than you would just walking or on a horse. And Fuse, it changes the way you play the game entirely. Your weapons won't break as easily, and they do more damage as long as you have the right materials. Fuse ability changes everything. You can attach a lot to your shield, a lot to your sword, and a lot to your arrows. And arrows don't seem that strong in this game, so attaching stuff to your arrows with the Fuse ability is probably going to be the most useful feature when it comes to long range fights. This game is something you definitely should not be worried about because the game is massive, the story is different, story is definitely refurbished, new, it's expanded, it definitely looks better, it looks like there's more to it than what we had in Breath of the Wild. And the game is controlled by you. If there's anything you should be worried about, it's about the leaks happening for the game. The game is entirely out, the final boss is out, you can see the final ending. It's atrocious. I hate seeing it, but I haven't actually looked at it. I just hear people saying that they've seen it. I don't like that. It's not good for Nintendo's sake, and it's not good for the fans' sake. Just avoid as many spoilers as possible. Again, I don't show spoilers. I don't talk about spoilers. I will only make a playthrough for the game when it does come out. So don't expect any spoilers in my videos because I don't put them in there. And yeah, this game is nothing to worry about. It's going to be a phenomenal game. It's going to be massive, and the story is just going to be so much better from Breath of the Wild. And there's really no worry. If you guys enjoyed this video and you were worried about Tears of the Kingdom before seeing this video, let me know in the comments down below if I changed your mind. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Link! You must find me.